Montana. They call it Big Sky Country, and after spending some time overlanding, camping, and adventuring here, it became clear why. The vast open landscapes and dramatic, expansive skies just seem to hit different here. But as Christine and I would quickly discover, there's a whole lot more to Montana than the sky. Pristine rivers and serene alpine lakes, for example, which seem to be everywhere you look. And don't get me started on the mountains, which are so jagged and so dramatic that it's hard to truly capture on camera. If you crave the feeling of remoteness and love exploring places of extraordinary natural beauty, Montana will not let you down. In fact, Christine and I walked away from this trip in full agreement that one spot in particular was the most beautiful place we had ever seen. So join us as we experience Montana for the very first time. Hey everyone, and welcome from Montana. This is a really exciting day for both Christine and I because we have wanted to explore in Montana for some time now, and we've ridden through Montana on a motorcycle a handful of times, and every time we do, we're like, we need to stop here and spend time here because it is just lakes and rivers and mountains and sky, and it's so beautiful. And now, for the first time, we've got the opportunity to get out here with the truck, and so we have got the next 4 or 5 days to just camp and off-road and explore in this absolutely stunning place, and couldn't be more excited. We just hit dirt, and in front of us is a mountain pass that's going to take us up a few thousand feet and over towards the west end of Glacier. And I think at this point, well, we just need to find a campsite because it's getting really late in the day. We were supposed to be here hours ago, but just as Montana does with its beauty, it has stopped us in our tracks like 3 times. We stopped on the side of the road to visit a waterfall and did a little impromptu hike to, I think it was called the Kootenai Waterfall. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of that, but it was spectacular. And then I found a little dirt road off of the highway that went down to a lake, and I figured, well, I'll drive down there and see if there's a campsite down there. And well, there wasn't really, and we had to do a little Austin Powers turn situation to get out of there. And now here we are, and it's like 5:30 in the evening. So first order of business is going to be to find a campsite, and then we've got all day tomorrow and for the next few days to explore. So it's going to be a good time. Well, this campsite that we found for night 1 just feels very Montana. I don't know if that's going to make any sense, but what I mean by that is it's just very expansive and grand. There are peaks in almost every direction. The sky is gorgeous. We're in this huge green lush meadow with these pink flowers, which are like bee magnets. I've never seen so many bees on a flower. Thankfully, they're more interested in the flowers than they are in us. And yeah, I will say it also does feel very much like bear country, and it is very much bear country. There were a number of signs talking about bears and bear safety on the way in, and we knew that was going to be the case, and so we've tried our best to set ourselves up for, well, not having a bear in our camp in the middle of the night. So we'll see how that goes, but anyway, great start to the trip in terms of camping. Christine is just finishing up dinner, so I'm gonna go sit down and eat because it's actually getting pretty late here, and then just enjoy this meadow and these views for the rest of the evening. And then, man, if the rest of the trip is anything like this, it's gonna be a pretty damn good time. This is so good. There's so much flavor in this. What all is in here?
It's super simple. It's just yellow curry with chicken, peppers, onions, and carrots, and fresh cilantro.
Man, oh, it's hard to believe how much flavor is in that. Thanks, baby. Morning. No issues at camp last night. It was a good night's sleep and a beautiful morning this morning. I know yesterday I had mentioned bears, and I probably had more comments in the last 2 or 3 weeks in my videos about how we stay safe in bear country than I've had in the past couple years. So apparently it is something that's on everyone's mind. And truth be told, we've never had an issue with bears at camp. We've never seen a bear at camp. It's just never been an issue at all. But that being said, we of course do try to be smart. So the things that we will typically do is we will make sure to leave nothing smelly around camp. That's a big important one. So the garbage, just not leave it by the trucks at night. Last night, I tied it to a tree about 100 yards away from camp, downwind, and that always seems to work pretty well for us. Never had a bear get into trash that we've hung from a tree. Of course, we carry bear spray, and if we're on a walkabout like I am right now, we always make sure that we carry a thing of bear spray with us. We have 2, one in the cab of the truck and one in the camper. We don't leave our wastewater out overnight either. We'll dump that somewhere far away from camp so there's no smells there. And otherwise, not a whole lot else, to be honest. I'm sure people are going to jump into the comments and say that I hung that thing from a tree all wrong and I'm doing it all wrong and all that. And maybe that's true. Maybe we've just been lucky, but it hasn't been a huge issue for us. I really don't think that bears should be a reason not to get out and explore, but I know it is something that is a big concern for some people. So that's what we do. Anyway, I think it's about time to break down camp and get underway today. There's a lot of exploring to do today. We're gonna get up to some high elevation towards a fire lookout tower, hopefully, and then aiming to find a riverside camp spot for the night, which would be absolutely fantastic. And yeah, see where the day takes us.
like a sinner in a church, and I just wanna get out with my crew tonight and shoot at the lights. Got a couple 40s full of hops and fun, looking for a good time, gotta live it up. Leave behind the city, hop inside my truck. No, we don't give up. We're gonna paint the night red, hoot and holler till we're dead. We're down to turn up, we're up to get down, saying hey y'all.
I thought I saw a black bear, but it was just a tree stump.
Wah, wah.
3, 4, hey. Looks wild, but you know we're right at home. The louder the better, cause with us anything goes. Life of the party, we're the feature of the show. You already know. We're gonna paint the night.
Well, we just decided to stop and take a look at these views because they are incredible. Christine's been driving, so I've been looking at everything and she hasn't really been able to. So I was like, we gotta stop so you can take a look at these views. And here's what it looks like. Off in front of us, you can just see some of the peaks from Glacier National Park. And then there is a dry creek bed that's running down below us, below this little shelf road here. And it's beautiful green meadows. Looks like a forest fire has been through here at some point, but still pretty spectacular. This road is not disappointed at all.
We're down to turn up, we're up to get down, saying hey y'all, howdy, let's get rowdy tonight. We're gonna paint the night red, hoot and holler till we're dead. We're down to turn up, we're up to get down, saying hey y'all, howdy, let's get rowdy tonight.
All right, well, we just came off that mountain that went up and over the pass and dropped us really just at the west end of Glacier. The park boundary is pretty much right over there, and we can see the peaks and they're spectacular. Our plan is to climb up another mountain and get close to a fire tower and maybe get some views from up high of those peaks. So that's what we're aiming for. But on the way, we decided to scout out kind of the primary area I had been hoping to camp at tonight. And everything was taken, and it's like 11 o'clock on a Friday morning. So I don't know what that means for us in terms of camping by a river tonight. With the proximity to Glacier being in the summer, I don't know, it just may be difficult, but I guess we'll just have to see and hope we find something good for tonight. But I'm excited to get up into that mountain and see what the views of Glacier look like from up top. Turning away from the river and climbing back up into the mountains, it wasn't just the water we left behind, it was the people as well. This is something that seems to be pretty common when we're exploring in the summer. Roads that follow rivers tend to attract Toyota Matrix drivers like mosquitoes. Why is it always a Matrix? I have no idea, but look, I don't make the rules. Anyway, we've always found that as soon as the road begins to get just a bit rougher and gain in elevation, the odds of finding solitude increase dramatically, as was the case here. All right, well, this is one hell of a view. That's Glacier National Park right behind us there with all the peaks, and it is spectacular. It's exactly what I was hoping for when we decided to drive up this ridge top. And there were no campsites along the way until we get to the very top, and then there is this one right here. And I think that that is because behind me is a trailhead that leads up to a fire lookout. So maybe we'll hike up there. I don't know. I don't know how long we're going to be here. We had not planned on camping up here, but after heading down to the river and just seeing how busy it is down there, we might, because this is our kind of campsite with a view like this and no one around. But either way, we're gonna be here for a little while. Christine's making some lunch and we're just gonna hang out and enjoy these views, whether we camp here or not. So we'll see what the wind does, we'll see what the bugs are like, but I would not be mad if we stayed up here tonight. I gotta show you the lunch that Christine made us because she has outdone herself yet again.
We've got a couple different cheeses, brie, my favorite, cheddar, Jeff's favorite, some caramelized onion dip, salami, prosciutto, some peppers, almonds, pita chips. Oh my God, I can't wait to dive into this.
I don't think you get a better view of Glacier than this from high up, any closer than this, and be able to disperse camp. Well, we've decided to stay here for the night. I was just checking the Garmin because we've been hanging out here for the last couple of hours, and the only real question mark as to whether or not it was going to be worth staying here was the wind. And it is windy, but it's really weird. Like, there will be no wind and then there will be a massive gust and our chairs go flying, and that seems to be the pattern. So I pulled up the weather on our Garmin InReach, and it looks like for the next 5 or 6 hours, it's sustained winds of around 14 miles an hour, gusting to about 30. And it definitely feels like 30 plus when it's gusting. But still, I think with our options right now being a little bit limited, we'd rather stay here with this incredible view of Glacier. Here's one of those wind gusts. With this incredible view of Glacier and no people around versus trying to go down by the river a little bit closer to the national park where everything that we saw by the river was taken. It's like RV and camper central down there. So this is much more our speed, even if the wind is a little bit punishing. This is going to be our preference for the night. So hopefully we don't regret it, but so far it's been worth it, and I'm really excited to get the drone up this evening and get some shots at sunset of these mountains and these peaks in Glacier, because it's something special. And I don't know if this video is going to do justice, but another wind gust. Hopefully these gusts don't get any worse, because yeah, our stuff's flying everywhere. Anyway, I'm gonna shut the camera off before it too goes flying, and we'll see how this goes. This has got to be, without a doubt, one of my favorite sunsets that I have seen in a long time. The way that the shadows crept through the valley and then up the mountains, and now the mountains are just bathed in this gold light. This is incredible. I am so thankful that this campsite worked out and the wind died down. It is like super calm right now. So hopefully that carries through the rest of the night. But what an incredible first 2 nights in Montana, from that big open meadow in night 1 in the mountains to this overlook of Glacier National Park. This trip is off to a killer start. But as much as I want to see this sunset out, I think it's time to crawl in the camper because we have a very early morning tomorrow in order to do what we want to do. So I hope you enjoyed episode 1 of our Montana adventure. We will have at least 1 more, maybe 2, coming here shortly. So stay tuned for that. And thank you so much as always for your support. Thanks for watching. We appreciate y'all, and we will see you in the next one. Cheers.